Not today, pal. Not today.
Our guest today is the person who's responsible and the reason why we have a podcast.
That's right.
And it's David Chase. And I feel like, first of all, thank you for doing it.
It's all, I am responsible. It's all my fault.
Yeah. And I feel like yesterday, watching you, listening to you, the most important thing to you about Sopranos, it seemed, was bringing people together, whether that was the cast, but really when you would talk about people getting together to watch the show and how much it moved you and how important it was to you. And I just wanted to let you know, we've been getting together every week for like 5 years to do this. We get together every weekend to barbecue and hang out, and she's been my best friend for over 20 years now, and that's all because of you, so thank you.
Oh, well, you're quite welcome. But, I didn't start out that way. In other words, I wanted to be a filmmaker. But when I heard that was what was happening with The Sopranos, that people were getting together for pizza and pasta, and I thought, oh, that is, I never even imagined that. I thought that is really cool and nice. So, but
Yeah.
I didn't have that intention. Oh, I hope I'm going to make people get together.
Right. But it is crazy that that's what you telling your story did.
Yeah.
Telling that story. It's crazy how many
Yeah.
people brought. I mean, you even see it. We were all at the premiere of your documentary last night, and you see how everybody kind of has those pairs, like Steve Sharippa, Michael Imperioli, me and her, Edie and Aida. Like, it's like you brought so many people together.
Yes,
It's crazy.
It's true. And I really was very interested and touched, and I loved learning about your life and the influence. And I didn't realize like how much of your personal life influenced the show.
Oh.
It was really interesting to me. I didn't know much about it at all.
Right. Yeah.
And I can imagine like then to have the result, like Rob's saying, of the people getting together, like none of that being your intention. You just put it all into your art. And I think that that's what every artist and creative is told to do and wants to do. And there's so many restrictions, and you were very steadfast and true to what you believed. And I think that that's what I took away most from the documentary, is that I hope that other people that aspire to be filmmakers and artists and creatives can take that lead from you. Because
Well,
it
you
was really
you
awesome.
said that at the CBS, was it there?
At the Today Show.
You said that, and it was the best thing anybody said, really.
Shit, is that me?
No, it's me.
Robbie.
I think it's me. Well, what I was going to say was, the people who deserve the credit for that is HBO.
Yeah.
I mean, all the restrictions were removed. And I had suffered under the oppressive, capitalist, fascistic thing called network television. And once those things were removed, I just went nuts. I went crazy. And, and so, so I seemed like the, brave crusader. Nobody told me to stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think because I was a kid, I had a different view of you than a lot of people, because a lot of the jokes that people make last night or before too are about like, oh, David was miserable. David was angry when he was coming down and he was up in the tower and but I don't know if it was just because I was a kid and you were sweeter to me and nicer to me, but I always felt like when I saw you, you were smiling. I don't know. I think I have a different view.
See, okay. Well, we have to go way back to 1946. And if you were to talk to my Aunt Mary, now deceased, she would say, oh, when he was 2 years old, you could stand on your head, do whatever he would not smile. And I guess there's some truth to that. But I was a happy kid. Well, there's the whole thing with my mother. And then in high school, girls, they say, oh, he's a criminal. He's just, I don't know. And it's true, so I don't smile enough. But I regret that. And I try to, now I feel it's part of my job and I have to remind myself to do it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't come naturally. It doesn't mean I'm not happy, or it's just my natural expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, resting David face, they call that. Resting
Yeah.
David face.
Yeah.
I mean, you just, people think, I have that same thing too, where like I can be intense about stuff and then people think I'm angry, because I get antsy or I get jittery and then people are like, oh, he's mad.
We've had that.
Yeah, for sure. Where she's like, oh, you're mad at me? Something. I'm like, no, I get,
Yeah.
I'm like I'm like a tiger sometimes. But something I really was excited to ask you when you agreed to do this show was so at one point, I forget if it was season 5 or 6, you came around and you took us all into a room and you said, I want a year off, right? That you said you wanted to take a year off. I wanted to know, in your head, or when you decided I want to take a year off, what did that year look like in your fantasy? Like, not what really you did in that year, but when you said, I want to take a year off because I want to...
I said a year? I said take a year off?
Wasn't it a year? In between, like...
It was 9 months.
9 months? Okay, yeah. So when you wanted to take that break...
Well, for us, it was a year. You probably then had to go back, start
Oh,
writing
yeah,
and
that makes
working. But
sense.
for us, it was...
Right.
Yeah.
So what did you want to do? Like when you're like, I want a fucking 9 months, I want a year to just what?
I think I had to rethink it all and think it over again. Like, okay, now what are we going to do? We've done a lot of stuff. And I also wanted to... Denise had been so supportive of me since I was 21. And I wanted to give her like a year, just the two of us together, because... but as far as the show was concerned... I think it was because of Chris Albrecht said, you better think how you're going to end this show. I said, what? He said, yeah, you better think of what the ending is going to be. And I thought, I'd worked in television for a long time. I just thought, well, you just get canceled.
Right. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he said, well, not with this show. We can't just cancel you. You got to figure this out.
Wow.
He was a smart guy.
He was.
But what about like personally? That's what I really want to know. Is like when you wanted to take that time off, were you like, I want 3 months to not fucking think about the show? Did you go to France? Like what?
Yeah, well, we had a house in France then, and I did want to go there for quite a while. Yeah.
And you said you would garden with Denise, or you just watch her garden?
I would watch her. I mean, she had me doing stuff I really didn't want to do in the garden, but it was really tough. Yeah, all that. But I just wanted to think about it. I wanted to read. I just want to recharge my batteries. And I wanted to read books and stuff, which I don't think I did. But
right, that's what I wanted to know is what did you want to do to recharge? Read.
Just read. I had been a long time since I'd been in college, and I was an English major, and I did really pour myself into certain classics. Here they are. Bringing It All Back Home, Aftermath, Tommy, and those are the ones I really got into. Those are the classics I got into while I was majoring in English history. I never really read a lot of the stuff I was supposed to have read. So I wanted to go back, but I still haven't done it.
Were you able to let go of the show at all during that time? Or
Yeah.
You are good.
Yeah,
That's
I
nice.
was. I think maybe that's what was needed.
For
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember the weird thing was like, obviously I was, 18, 19, 20. And I remember when you took us all in that room, and as soon as you were like, would everyone be okay with that? And everyone was like, yeah, of course, David. Like, what are we going to say no to you? Like, yeah, sure. And then everybody started getting up, and then everybody started turning to each other going, man, what are we going to work on for that year off and this? And I was like, these people are fucking crazy. Like, what do you mean work? He just told us we could
Rob
have
was
a
like, party.
Yeah, I was like, he just told us we have a year off and we're coming back to a job. Like, in my head, I'm like, I wouldn't even.
I know, but especially for actors, there's no security.
Yeah,
So you think, how do we know we're coming back?
for sure.
Oh my God, maybe he's lying.
Yeah.
They're coming from decades of
Yeah.
experience of being out of work and that fear and that.
But
Famine.
also, you two guys were very young. There were
Yeah.
other
Right.
people who had families,
Yeah.
mortgages,
100%.
all that
And it was
crap.
and also passion, right? They like
Of
Edie was like, I
course.
want to do a play. I want to do that. You know, like that's a foot. It was crazy to me that like, and again, that's I think something that really changed my life about Sopranos is getting to be around people who were the best at what they did, whether it was you, the writers, the actors, the cameramen,
The
like
crew, yeah.
You're around these people, and you're like, I didn't realize as a 13-year-old, but you're around a fucking group of people who are the best in the world at what they do.
They were.
And when people are the best in the world at what they do, when they hear they have a year off, that is their first thought of like, what am I going to do? What's my next thing? Where I was a, 18-year-old punk going like, how much can I drink? In this next year.
Well, you did that well too. So
I did that well. I accomplished
you're a good partier.
I accomplished my goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, I think a lot of these people who you say were the best in the world at what they do, I think a lot of us were discovering that on that show.
Yeah.
Didn't know it going into it,
Yeah.
but we made a group that really accomplished something. I think that's what happened. It wasn't, I mean, I don't want to, let's just take the camera department. There are famous, who shot The Godfather? Gordon Willis. Well, we didn't have Gordon Willis. We had Alex and we had Phil.
Yeah.
I think they began to see how great they were while we were doing it. All of us, I think all you guys began to and actually learn from each other.
Yeah, I can remember there was like this moment, maybe it was towards the end of the first season. You know what it was? I can remember it because when I rewatched it like I had a very visceral reaction. There was this scene where it was the four of us around the dinner table in the kitchen. We were having Chinese food, and I said to Tony, like, well, what about the mafia? I remember doing that scene, and I remember watching that scene, and there was just this like synergy, and there was just this, I remember just settling into that role and my body and my job as an actor, and just feeling so bolstered by everyone in that Silver Cup studio. Like you could just feel the energy from the writer's room down to that set. And I just remember being like, oh my God, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Because this is
Wow.
fun and amazing. And just, I've worked with other great actors that like barely look at you in the eye, it feels like. And you're working with, Jim and Edie that just like, I don't know, you gave us the best school in the world.
Well, I mean, I don't know if either of you guys write fiction at all. Well, if you're a writer, if you're lucky, we'll remember the good times. No, if you're a writer, you can write something, and you'll realize, and you'll say, you'll realize that it really wasn't you. Something was coming down through you and onto the page.
The hive mind.
A channel.
That's what they call that, right? The hive mind? Yeah.
Yeah,
No, is
the-
that the hive mind? Something else.
The muse. It's the muse.
Right.
It's some power. And I think we all on that show got hit with it.
You're so right.
It's all about luck. We were just really lucky.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of musicians too. Like they're like, oh, I just woke up humming this
I
thing,
know.
and now it's
Yes.
not you.
Yeah,
It's
satisfaction. Da, 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 da. He woke up at 2
That's
o'clock in the
right.
morning.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Edie said last night. Like it wasn't hard for her to play Carmela.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
crazy.
and I believe her, and I was there. We saw it. We
Yeah.
saw the effortlessness of it. It was. We were all just open to whatever
I think,
creativity could come through.
well, Brad Gray said to me, this isn't going to happen again in our career. And I said, what do you mean? He said, we've captured lightning in a bottle. And I said, oh. He said, and it's not going to happen twice. So,
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, it was hard to be that young and experience it, and then have to like go on and feel like, is there something wrong with me? Why am I not feeling what I felt for 10, 11 years of the beginning of my career, essentially doing this? And it is because it was that lightning in a bottle.
I think it was. And, and also, there was something about there was something about Jim. He was getting hit with lightning all the time. I believe.
Yeah.
And he could be a huge pain in the ass, but he was getting hit by lightning all the time. And I think there was something about him. He was on set all the time.
Yeah.
And there was something about him on set that also contributed to this feeling of like, wow, something so special here.
Yeah.
And Edie too, but he was the guy, and he all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie, this is it. This has been Zolo, what is this, like 2 months in the making?
Oh yeah, man.
we went back and forth on this a lot. We have our first official piece of merch. And Robbie has no hat on right now. But now Robbie's.
Yeah.
What
Oh, it looks so good.
I
It looks
mean-
good on you. It's dope.
Come on. We're supposed to read this and sell these. I might just keep them all.
Yeah. Good.
This is fucking, I love this.
It's so good.
Yeah, this
the
is
colors
good.
are good. I can't. It's going to look good on me. I hope it does.
Yeah, let's try it. Go to
wear this
store.ymhstudios.com and you could grab this hat. We're pumped. Thank you, Zolo, for helping me with it. And yeah, thank you for who were the people responsible for making it?
Brendan over at Slingshot e-commerce kind of oversaw the whole thing.
Thank you, Brendan.
Way
yeah.
to go, bro.
Looks great.
Love it.
So yeah, that's it, guys. Go grab the hat if you want. If not, here's the rest of the episode.
Hey guys, we want to thank DraftKings for sponsoring the pod. DraftKings is the place to play your favorite real money casino games with your fingertips. You can choose from over 300 real money games like slots, blackjack, craps, and live dealer games whenever and wherever you want. DraftKings is not only safe, secure, and reliable, it's also awarded over $100 million in jackpot winnings. DraftKings is giving new casino customers $50 in casino credits when they sign up using promo code NOTTODAY and play a minimum of $5. Just head to DraftKings Casino app right now, sign up again using promo code NOTTODAY, play $5, and receive $50 in casino credits. Good luck and happy playing.
Yeah.
100%. So Jamie just said, you talked about like settling in as an actor, and this is not to get a compliment from you, so don't, please. But I feel like I only had one good scene in all of Sopranos. Can you tell me what you think I think that scene is? There's one scene where after it I went, I think I just did a good job.
See, to me, you have endless numbers of great scenes. I'm not complimenting you
Thank
because
you.
I could pick apart a lot of what you did.
Right. Thank
But-
you. Yeah.
But no, I'm kidding about that. But I guess outside the police station,
Wow.
Wow, Rob. Yeah.
Damn.
really,
Yeah.
that was it.
Wow. I'm shocked that you got that. Yeah.
No, you
Well-
shouldn't be shocked.
But nobody
You
ever,
felt
but
it.
nobody ever gets that. That's what I'm saying.
Really?
It's crazy that David got nobody
Wow.
ever.
That's
When I
cool.
even say that to people, they're like, oh, because they think like, oh, it's suicide, or you tried to kill him because you were there. But no one ever says that.
It was
Wow.
something. You two guys were clicking.
It was
You-
crazy.
You were going crazy.
I don't
that
know
night.
what happened. It was so
It was really like a father and son. You thought
I have
this
chills.
is like too intimate. I shouldn't be watching this.
Yeah, and I remember at the end of the scene, I'm supposed to like turn over and kind of like dry heave, and then he's supposed to be like just disgusted with me, like this is my son, like that. And at the end of the first take, we hugged instead, and he like held me and took me over to the car door and like put me in the car. And I remember, I think it was Timmy Van Patten. And he came over and he was like, that was amazing. He was like, but that's not what's in the script. Like, he was like, it's supposed to be something very different. And we were like, oh, okay, sorry. But the weird thing of that scene was, nobody had ever asked me to rehearse with them a scene ever before in Sopranos. One time, I think actually, Vinny Pastore asked me one time, but we never got together. And Jim called me before we had to do that scene, and he said, hey, I think we should rehearse this scene.
Wow.
And I said, okay. And he said, I'm going to pick you up. At first he said, we'll get together. And then he didn't have time, I guess. So he said, I'm going to pick you up on the way to set. We'll rehearse it because it was in Jersey. And he's like, it's rush hour because it has to be at night. So he's like, it'll probably take an hour and a half, 2 hours to get there. So we'll rehearse in the car. And I was like, okay. So he picked me up in the car. We spoke for like 5 or 10 minutes, whatever. And the next thing I remember, his driver was waking me up, and he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "We're here." And I was like, "Oh shit, like what?" And he was like, "Yeah, the two of you fucking fell asleep 10 minutes into the ride, and you just, when we showed up, and the first take we did it, I was like, something happened there. Like it was fucking.
No,
weird.
I know. It was incredible.
Yeah.
However, I mean, a whole different thing. But we have to stop our dependence on foreign oil. That scene is, ridiculous as it was. I mean, and the 4 of you, you left the room, right? You got sick and tired of them fighting.
Yeah.
Right. That was very funny.
Yeah. What do you want?
But you know what? I don't know if you're aware of this. Maybe I shouldn't even say this. A lot of people fucking hate AJ.
Oh, hate? Yeah, I hated AJ at times.
I don't understand it.
Right? Yeah.
What have they got against that kid? He was 16 years old. What do you want from him? That kid, he's so spoiled. Okay, well, he didn't spoil himself.
Right.
And especially since a lot of what he's saying is based on what I was said when I was his age. How could you hate him? I mean, and I've never understood it.
They're just getting triggered.
What?
They're getting triggered.
Oh,
You
okay.
know.
Yeah.
And it's also like, I think a lot of people, because the thing that I hated about AJ was like, I grew up very poor. And I would be like, this kid just got a fucking car. Like, and like this house is, and like everything.
Maybe they were jealous.
Yeah, but it was also, but it wasn't, because she would get the same stuff, but people liked her because she was sweet.
No, I thought people didn't like Meadow either.
That's true, but I just think
some people didn't,
AJ
but-
was so fucking ungrateful for. I mean,
Yeah.
he I don't, he always was
Well, what
just.
did you expect?
He'd walk in with a grin, and
Yeah, but see, AJ was trying so hard to understand the world and the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why people didn't see that he was confused, he was scared. He was like, what's going on? Where am I?
Well, because people are confused and scared, and it probably
I'm
reminded
wondering
them
if
of
it's like
themselves.
the people in their 20s, 30s that were like triggered by AJ because they weren't.
No, I think it was older people.
Really?
I think so. Like,
I think it was all.
Yeah, all.
Everybody.
They probably, the older people probably thought, oh, that kid, I wouldn't let him get away with that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Were
Right.
were there characters that were easy for you to kill off and hard for you to kill off, or did it all kind of feel the same?
Well, there were some characters that were harder for me to kill off than others. But I had to go to a weird place about everything, about that. And so I started thinking about two things. I thought, okay, well, this is a mob drama, and people get, the boss of them has to say, okay, take him out. And I'll take him to dinner, and then when we're coming out of the restaurant, you kill him. So I thought, so you got to keep that in your mind, that you're the boss of this crew, and you got to this has to happen. That was one thing I thought. Then I thought, and maybe this is nuts, but I thought, if you're an oncologist, you have to say, people come into your office and you say, look, I have bad news. I think you need to prepare yourself for a major malignancy here. It's probably not going to turn out well.
All right.
And I thought, okay, those guys have to do it somehow. And I know this is not the same, but you are going to affect whoever it is' life, their livelihood, their money, everything, their work. They're part of this family. And so the best thing you can do is just be as matter of fact as possible.
Wow.
Now, people probably thought I was very cold doing that. But I didn't do it in a cold, I don't think. It just had to be done.
I appreciate hearing that perspective, though. That's hard. I don't think many people probably took in consideration how that could be difficult for you.
Why would they? Why would I
Right.
mean, they're
It's
losing their
right.
livelihood. They're getting fired.
Right. Yeah.
John Fiore. Oh man. And the reason why was because we killed him on the toilet. I'm sure.
Right. Yeah.
If
yeah.
he had gotten shot in the street, I don't think it would have been so much of a problem. But the way he died, he was really bitter about it.
And you said yesterday when you were killing all the characters, most of them, unless they died from on the toilet. What, he died? A heart attack on the toilet? What? No.
Yeah.
Heart attack. So like
From Thanksgiving dinner.
right. So most
That
characters,
classic story.
nobody got away without seeing blood, seeing them die. But you said when you decided to kill Adriana, you didn't want to see it.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I don't think the
di-
audience would have
I
wanted
didn't
to
want to. Hopefully, you always hope. Okay, well, this is going to hit the audience the right way. This is going to move the audience in some way. I just didn't want to see that because I loved Drea. I loved her, the character, and also somebody said yesterday she was also innocent.
Yeah.
And did other innocent people get it? I don't know. The way I look back at it, everybody who got it kind of deserved a little bit,
Right. So how did you know it was time to kill someone? How would you?
This is the story. Just we would work out the whole story, and we'd spin this incredible story for a season, and I don't think we ever said, what what are we going to do? Well, let's kill Adriana. They'll get that.
Right. Yeah.
That didn't happen. It was
Yeah.
all the story was going, and it went for what? For 3. When did she start working for the FBI? 3 years before,
Yeah.
or something, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And she threw up on the,
Yeah.
and that was a good story. It was a good, realistic story about a woman whose boyfriend is in the mob, and the FBI knows it, and she's now snitching on him. That was a powerful story, all the way through.
Yeah.
Did you ever think of killing either one of us off?
No.
No. Even at the when you were debating what to do for the ending, it never crossed your mind. Wow.
Never. I don't think anybody, not only me, I don't think it was ever even brought up. What those fucking people said, but about AJ. Well, I wasn't reading that. It was after the show was over I read that. Everybody didn't like AJ. No, we never thought that.
Well, I remember I did an interview for one of the Sopranos books, and I remember I said I would be reading the script, and sometimes I wanted to reach through and smack AJ in the face. And you said that was your favorite line. You were like, oh, that's just, because I did too. There were just times where you're like, this fucking kid, But there was something I loved
But that's what it's kids are.
Of course.
It's about
Yeah.
your own
It's
kid.
So good.
God damn it, be quiet.
Yeah. And it was, and there was something that I, in a weird way, enjoyed about, I think people when they were, especially like when I was 14, 15, 16, like people who were actors, that they wanted to be cool and liked and this, and they wanted to be, doing the thing and this. I kind of liked that people didn't like me.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, I kind of got off on that, where people would see me and they'd be like, "You're Karen." Yeah, I would see like Jersey moms would be like, "If you were my son, what I would do," and I was like, "I like this. I like hearing this. It makes me,
That's
it makes
great.
me feel."
Well, see, that makes it realistic, actually, to me. I mean, yeah, a parent. I don't think Tony and Carmela were the greatest parents. They weren't the worst.
Right.
But I think that helped with the realism. But I didn't realize there was such disdain for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't you feel like people are talking about fasting now and all the benefits of it, like weight loss and mental and physical performance, gut health? But obviously they worry about the whole not eating part. Well, that's exactly why Prolon was created. Prolon is a revolutionary plant-based nutrition program that nourishes the body while making cells believe that they're fasting. They have researched and developed this for decades at the University of Southern California Longevity Institute, and it's backed by leading U.S. medical centers. So Prolon helps promote healthy blood sugar, cardiovascular health, and helps reduce abdominal fat. But it's not a diet. Prolon is science. It's science-based on Nobel Prize-winning discoveries in medicine. And this all starts with Prolon's 5-day program. There's snacks, there's soups, and there's beverages, all designed to keep your body in a fasting state. It's unlike anything you've ever experienced. I could not believe the amount of energy that I felt when I finished my 5 days. And right now, Prolon is offering Not Today Pal listeners 10% off their 5-day nutrition program. So go to prolonlife.com/nottoday. That's PROLON life.com/nottoday for the special offer. That's prolonlife.com/nottoday.
What's the craziest rumor you ever heard about Sopranos?
Oh, that's a good question. The craziest rumor. I'd have to think about that for a long time. I'd have to
Okay.
go back.
Or
and
you,
remember.
or yourself, or a crazy rumor you ever heard about you. But no, I think about Sopranos is good because I've had people come up to me and talk about like, oh, I heard Jim on set would walk around and pretend to be a chicken and like this kind of thing, and you're like, well, there's some truth to that, but no, not really. Like there's
We'd make a balk every once in a while.
yeah. There were noises that would come out and he would do stuff, but it's just. It escalates, and then all of a sudden you hear this crazy.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard any crazy rumors about the show where you're like, that's not fucking true?
Right.
No.
One of the best things about the documentary last night was we got to see auditions. I fucking loved.
That was really. I could have watched 3 hours of that.
When they said the documentary was also like when they said the documentary was almost 3 hours, I was like, wow, okay. And then at the 3 hour mark, I was like, I could watch another 3 hours. Like I was really, I was all in. But seeing, like you said, I could have watched a full documentary on just the auditions.
I can't. I told them at the very beginning, I'm not producing this. This is not okay. I don't know what those people are going to say.
But they had to give it to him, right?
I don't know. No. HBO told Alex, I think, and believe me, if there was a problem, because HBO is producing that, they would have said, you can't do that. The legal department would have jumped all over it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They said maybe they own that footage, and I don't know.
That HBO owns it?
The audition tapes.
Yeah, that when you come in, you probably sign something.
Right.
I don't know. Do you have memories of the auditions?
Yeah.
You do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, I do.
So we're gonna name some actors, and you tell us what you remember from their auditions.
Okay.
What do you, Jamie Lynn? What do you remember about Jamie Lynn's?
I don't remember you auditioning.
That's good.
I don't. Did you actually audition?
I did a bunch of times. I think I did 3 times and then a screen test at HBO offices. And I think John Ventimiglia read Tony with me.
John Ventimiglia read everything with everybody.
He did?
Wow.
His hope was he'd be one of the crew. And just didn't work out that way. He read with everybody. Georgianne and Sheila got him to do all that.
Wow.
And he was very generous.
Yeah.
And then there was no role for him. And he did Artie. he did Artie so great.
So great.
He's
And
unreal.
one of the best lines in the show. Matt Weiner wrote this. Artie was in love with his hostess.
Yeah.
From someplace in Eastern Europe. Her name was Martina. And Benny and his family come in for anniversary with his mother and all that. And they're ordering drinks. And somebody says, I'll have this, I'll have that. And somebody said, I think, he said, if I can, I'd suggest the Martina. And they said, what's that? He said, well, it's like a martini, but it goes down easier. And it was Benny's girlfriend, right? And he did it so well with this schmucky grin.
Yeah.
He's unreal. He has range, Johnny.
Oh,
B.
yeah.
He does.
He's got
He
range. Give David an actor.
All right, Robert.
My audition. What do you remember?
I think you were late. You were coming up from downtown. You were working on a movie with Polly Draper or something.
Wow. Yeah. That's right.
Um,
Yeah, and yeah. Well, I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember you were late. But there were people who, there was no question. I don't remember any of the other competitors for it or anything like that. I mean, Well, you came in, you had this kind of great sort of like, we used to say during the show, this puss on your face.
Yeah.
And you were just kind of like that, and we just thought, this is the kid, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me when I got older, you were like, you were like, you know, what I liked about you, what I didn't like about you, you were like, I would tell you to say a line, then you would go do it the exact way you did it before I told you what to say. You're like, that was the first season, you know, and you were like, then, you know, you came around a little, but you were like, in the first season, I would talk to you and you'd look at me like you were listening, and then you would go just say the same, the same thing, the same
Well,
way.
how old were you, 11?
I was 12 when we started. Yeah, my next birthday, I'm going to be 40.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild. It's weird. And we're forever the kids. People always, and they always
Yeah.
apologize. I'm like, I'm so used to it. But it's just everybody, even, you know, the crew last night.
Well, you're
everybody's
still the
like,
youngest members of the cast.
Right.
oh, yeah.
I mean, and that's why, I guess, why we never thought of killing either one of you. Well, it was the family, you know? It was mom, dad, junior, and sis, the American family.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we would never have disturbed that.
What do you remember from Edie's audition?
Oh, wow. Well, it came very late. I think we were all cast, and we had no Carmela. And let me think if I can put this in perspective. And Lorraine says that she said, I don't want to do Carmela. And maybe she did say that, and maybe she thought that, but I said to the casting people, I don't think she's right for Carmela because we've seen that. We've seen her do that. And like in the documentary, and then I told her, okay, you're going to play Dr. Melfi, but you have to keep your hands in your lap, keep your voice down.
Yeah.
I saw that.
I loved that.
And she said, well, you heard her say, I had to completely submerge myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is true. Which is true. Edie came on roller skates. Was at the end of the whole thing. She was wearing a dress and roller skates, and we were just dying. And we were up in some hotel in Midtown or something on the top floor, and she came in and read. And that was, okay, boom,
Wow.
Yeah.
no question.
You know what's interesting when you talk about the actors who you chose for the show? It seems like they were the least smooth. A lot of it, like when you talk about, I showed up late. James Gandolfini stopped in the middle and said, "I don't want to do this." And then even Tony Sirico, when they showed his audition last night, he stopped. He was like, "This is not good. I got to do this again." And it's like that's what you did. You think you appreciated the imperfections of the?
Yeah, I did. I mean, look, there was a schedule and there was problems and all that. So when Jim didn't show up 3 times, that was annoying.
Yeah.
But but that's the way it was. And Sirico had one line in the pilot. His line was, "Hey, Tone, Dick Barone wants to see you." That was it.
Wow.
And look,
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you what so I got Sopranos, and again, I told you, I grew up really poor, and I remember my family being like, holy shit, like, you got a TV show, like, you're going to be on TV now. And we were like, yeah, we're going to be on TV, and you're going to be making money, and you're going to, and then we shot the pilot, and Tony Sirico, I brought up, like, yeah, we're on a TV show now, and Tony Sirico looked at me, and he's like, kid, he's like, are you serious? He goes, we're never going to see each other ever again. He goes, we do shit like this all the time. He goes, and that's it. We'll do this, and then, maybe I'll see you at an audition in a few years, or maybe I'll see you this. And then now I'm 12 years old. I got to go back to my family and be like, no,
Yeah.
this isn't the thing. Like, they do this all the time, I guess, and we're just not. And then, like you said, next thing you know, it just.
yeah. Did he ever tell you about when he was on Beretta?
No.
He was on this was way before your time. The show Beretta.
Yeah.
It was Robert Blake. Speaking of, and Tony played a hoodlum. Hoodlum 1, and he the scene was Beretta grabs him, throws him on the hood of a car, and just goes like this, and then he goes, and he gives it up. So he told his whole family about it. And he was living out in L.A. and he called up and he talked to his son and he said, "Why?" He said, "You snitched, you squealed, you're a rat." So that's why he came in saying, "I'm not going to be a rat. I'm not going to be a rat." Right.
He
Right.
was. He was very clear about that.
And the other thing he said, at one point, somebody said, "Paulie is a bully." And he said, "I'm not a bully, and I'm not going to." That was the only time I ever let a word be changed.
Really?
Of course, he was a bully.
Yeah. In the documentary, he was like, "No," he's like, "My character acts like me." Like,
Yeah.
he's just so.
But don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
I would love. He's just, and you know, when a lot of people talk about, you know, James Gandolfini, and they're like, you know, I would have loved to have met James Gandolfini. I'm always like, yeah, you know, you would have. He was amazing. And when people say, I would have loved to have met Tony Sirico, I go, you did.
That's true.
You did. Like,
That's
you
true.
so
Did you ever do a scene with him?
Yes. When Tony was in the coma, we had like a
Uncle
brief.
Paulie?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember
we had that brief moment.
That was pretty great. That
You know,
was great.
He was a true artist. I mean, I really was taken back by when I rewatched it as an adult. I remember being moved most by him and his performance because he was always larger than life and he was very Paulie in real life. But I think watching the show with a distance and a perspective, I remember being really, really impressed by him. And I always was aware of his respect for the work and how hard he worked on things. But I just remember really, missing him, but also being really moved by him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. We did a thing out in California, in L.A., and which episode should we show? And I said, I talked it over with Terry, and I don't know what we should do. And then I decided to go by who the writers were. And then I said, you know what? One of them should feature Paulie, and one of them should feature Junior. I said, that's what we should we should lead with. Because those guys were so out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
In real life, Tony Sirico showed up to my communion with like $500 in a card. He showed up with a gangster named Jimmy the Hat. And with my family is all looking around like, what the hell's going on? And he gave me the card and he goes, if anybody ever bothers you or gives you any trouble, you call Uncle Tony. And he gave me a kiss and he this. And I was like, I think I'm in the mafia. You know? I was like, what the hell just happened? I think I was this little Irish kid. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I think I'm in the mafia. Yeah, I think I just got made. Yeah. And he was just always, he called me Squirt in real life all the time. Squirt, come here, Squirt. Uncle Tony's going to do it. Uncle Tony's going to. And he was just always incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and my favorite thing about people are like people's quirks, and you could just watch him all day. I remember he had like rubber bands around the bottom of his sweatpants and just like all these things that I was like, I love that. I'm so obsessed.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
could
But
just
do you
watch
remember
him
those?
forever.
We used to have like parties at Lorraine's house.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
his pants would be unbuttoned.
Yeah.
He'd be sitting there.
yeah.
And it was like one of my uncles or something. It was
Yeah.
doing exactly that. Button your fucking pants, you know.
A true individual.
Yeah.
I remember one time we were downtown, and this was like, one of the nights where like the boys were going out, and we were hitting a couple spots and whatever, and somebody was driving us around, and like at the last spot we went to, he was like, I'm just gonna stay in the car. like what? Like you want? He was like, oh, you guys go ahead, and he was like, oh, we'll take you home. He's like, no, go ahead, like go have fun, and then just come back. I'm just gonna sit here. And he just we went to like 3 different spots. I think we went to like Nobu and like a couple spots. And on the last place, he just said like, I'm gonna sit in the car by myself. We were like, all right, no cell phone, no nothing. He just
right.
wanted to sit in the car for a little. We were like, okay.
I love that man.
I don't know why I had a chance to watch. My memory is shot. The one in the woods. What is it?
Pine
Bears.
Time Bears, yeah. And I watched it recently. I don't know why. But anyway, and the best thing about it, and there's a lot of great stuff in there. The best thing about it is, I don't know if you remember this, they're driving home. His hair is all messed up. And Tony's driving the car. He looks in the mirror and he goes, "You got mayonnaise on your chin." And he goes, "Huh? Mayonnaise, mayonnaise." And he had this like sulky look, like a 4-year-old kid.
Yeah.
It was, I just loved it.
Yeah.
He's just a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're just like, this
Yeah.
is, you can't get better.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you just watch him and you're like, you're unbelievable. What did, I want to know, let me see. What was your, was there any kind of scene that would be shot? Because, you know, a lot of times you'd be up in the writer's room and you wouldn't be down, we'd be working. Was there any kind of scene where you would stop everything and go, I got to go down
Yeah.
to watch it? What were the scenes that you were like, I have to be there?
Not that many. As time went on, not that many, because there was always the people who had written the script were the on-set producers. Like Terry was a great producer. Matt Weiner took a lot of crap from Jim, but he was a really great producer. Jim used to belly butt him all the time.
Yeah.
And Robin and Mitch were down there. They were not as good, but at that. I'm trying to think of something I had to be there for. I just can't remember.
When somebody was killed, you always wanted to be there?
No,
No? Wow.
I think I had to be there when Tony was shot. I think I was there. A lot of him being in that trance, that coma, I was there for.
Did you ever have favorite scenes that you just wanted to be there for? Like, oh, it's a dinner scene. Oh, it's a this, you know, like Dancing with Sean.
Yes, I did. But I don't remember which ones they were now, honestly.
Yeah.
And also, I was there more. I was there less as time went on, because the show got bigger, and it was like a big aircraft carrier. The whole the writing, the editing, the marketing, and I got to be on set less and less. But it was going great.
And do you look back now at the show and go, I wish I did this, I wish I did that, or do you just leave it as it is?
No, I do wish I had done things differently.
Is there anything that pops into your head?
Well, I don't know. We probably shouldn't have gone to Italy when we went there. There were some casting choices I would redo, although none of the regulars, none of the people who were in the crew or the family. Yeah, sure. There's a lot of stuff I would have cut or rewritten or not done. But there's just so many of them, I can't even think of them. That's why I've never seen the whole show. I mean, I watched it every Sunday night. Was the premiere of that episode.
Right.
With John Patterson and my friends, and we watched it every Sunday night. But after that, I've never watched the entire series.
Yeah.
I've watched the last episode a couple of times to see like, who was that actor, what was that about, but that's about it. And speaking of John Patterson, I don't know, maybe I told you guys this. He was dying of prostate cancer, and he had a crisis, and they took him to the hospital, Cedars-Sinai, in L.A. His daughter, she was there last night, but where was she? Anyway, his daughter said they were wheeling him down this corridor, and he was saying, "Who am I? Where am I going? Who am I? Where am I going?" And that's what Tony said when he was in that other alternate reality.
Wow.
Wow. But which came first? You took that from him, or
Yeah,
Tony said it?
he came first.
Right. What were the emotions you were feeling when you were writing the final episode or the final scene, really?
The final scene of the show?
Of Sopranos, yeah. The last scene. When you were writing, like, typing in the end, what were you feeling?
It's a really good question. Steve, I hope this works.
Right.
No, people are going to complain.
That's so funny that you think that.
I hope, yeah, we always thought, I hope this works. But see, here was the great thing, and this is the truth. You say you don't want to give me compliments or whatever. Whatever we wrote, we knew that the cast could do it, no matter how different it was. We never thought, gee, I wonder if they can pull this off. Never once. Of anybody.
Yeah.
So,
What-
so when we wrote, if we thought the script, the scene worked, we knew it would work. That we never had. I don't think we ever had a bad scene. A scene go bad.
Wow. Do you to go back to the other question? Do you remember any rumors? Did any pop in your head? Any rumors that you heard about Sopranos, or that you were like, "What the hell is?" If not, it's fine.
I just can't think of them now, but I had. The strange things people come up with, and how they misinterpret.
It's
How they miss it, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
You're just completely wrong, you know?
what I mean. The last thing I just want to ask you is there anything that you've never talked about that you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, I do want to say, you know Denise, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm really upset that she couldn't be here. Yesterday, I thought she should have been part of this so much because she loved everybody and everybody had a good time with her. And that's a bad thing.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Denise is your wife, but the I think the pictures in the documentary that she's in, she just pops off the screen with
Yeah.
just
Yeah, she does.
the smile, the way she's
know.
looking at
I know.
Michelle, the way she's looking, like just
I know.
it really was like every time I saw her up there, it was like, wow.
And see, people didn't. Denise is very funny. Her mother used to say, "My little clown," and Denise is a clown. She didn't really show that in public too much, but she always made people laugh, and she loved the whole thing. She loved going to these things like last night. Although that's not Denise at all,
Right.
but she loved this group of people.
And well, I will say, for anyone that have said you don't smile enough or whatever it is, what was always very, very clear was the love that you two share. It was
Good.
a very beautiful example to see. I was always very,
Really? Oh, that's
very
good.
moved by
good to
your
hear.
love and respect for each other. It was very clear.
That's good to hear. I mean, I was really glad that Michelle was here.
Yeah.
But but Michelle was a baby, and I knew Denise since she was 16, and
Jeez.
I wouldn't be here in this position had she not helped me out and told me. And one of the things she used to say all the time: "Smile. You gotta smile. You have to smile at people."
Yeah. So we
She
owe it
was
all to
always.
her.
I mean,
Always
we have
smiling.
pictures of her in the house at the age of 2. The same smile.
Yeah. Well,
That's awesome.
I mean, thank you for everything.
It's great to be here.
You changed.
I really like it.
You changed my life. You changed our life. It's just ridiculous. And any chance that we all have to get together now, it does feel like
How
family.
we do something? I would like to do something again.
Whatever you want.
I don't think we can do The Sopranos. I don't.
No.
I mean, people say, "Well, Edie should take over the family," or you should take over, or you should take you.
Yeah.
Should, not him.
Yeah, not me.
You should
No, definitely not me. that would be a quick show.
But just to do that would mean you have to explain about
Yeah.
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 Well, that's. I feel like there are different opinions out there that sometimes you have said that Tony was dead, sometimes you haven't said Tony was dead, sometimes you did it.
People interpret what I say, but I've always tried to say I'm not going to talk about this.
Right.
I love it.
Well, yeah, like you said, we'll all get together and do a comedy in outer space.
Let's do it.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody.
Anything would
100
be fun.
people.
There, to be honest, there really is a come down for me when we all leave each other. Like when I went
Yeah.
home last night and I was in bed and I was alone, I was like, fuck. Like
Yeah.
there is.
I
Well,
know.
because it's just when's the next time, right? It always, you just, was that the last time?
Probably.
Was that the last time that that will
Probably.
be like that? And I think that's what I got super overwhelmed with. And it sounds like not the right reaction, but I actually had to leave early because of those feelings. You'd think I'd want to stay and savor it, but it was overwhelming for me that I had to remove myself because of that feeling.
I know you said that last night.
Yeah.
But you know what the great thing is that everybody came around to that feeling. Like you said, it wasn't like that right after the show went off. Right?
No.
Yeah.
But everyone has come around to feeling like, oh man, I was part of something really cool. Well, these are all my fellow artists here. This is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that was interesting that Dominic said to me last night. He goes, "You know what it was all about?" He said it was about trust and love.
Oh,
And I was
he's
like,
the
wow.
best.
He could just say, he's like, he could say anything.
Everything
I'm
he
like, wow. But yeah,
says
he
feels
really
like,
did. And I
yeah.
was like, wow, that's,
Yeah.
well, this, I'll never
Thank
be
you
able to
so
thank you
much.
enough for
Thank you for
everything.
having me. I love doing this.
Thank you.
This is a high point.
All right. Well,
It's
we'll
been
see
a
you
nice
guys.
few days getting
It
those
has.
like spent together.
Yeah,
It really
yeah,
has.
It has. It really is. It's just there's so much like you see, you get out of a car and you see somebody and you hug them and you feel so much joy. And then as soon as you're done hugging them, you hug someone else and
I
you
know.
feel so
It's
much
great.
joy. And it's just
great.
like,
And like you and I we said during the commercial, I think I said hello and I gave you and then it was over.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. It was so fast.
Yeah.
But it's also quickly too, just what it is to the world is amazing, what this show means to the world. But I think, like we're saying, just these past 2 days and just what this has done for us, just the connection we all have and the unique experience that will forever bond us is so much bigger than any of that.
It
You know?
is. It is. That yes, I'm realizing that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We were lucky.
We are. We're
We're
lucky.
lucky to find each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
David. We'll see
All
you
right.
guys next week.
Okay.